Hello and welcome to my channel, Inspiring Life Changes. Welcome back to those of you who have been here before, and big welcome to those of you who have clicked on play to find out what it's all about. The tarot reading, because this is a tarot reading that I'm doing today, is going to be for this Pisces new moon. I have just put the astrology part of this reading out as well, because I do two parts. I do astrology first and then follow that up with a tarot reading. It is actually taking place on the 2nd of March and it is at the time of this new moon in Pisces. So if you're interested in any more of the astrology, there will be a link in the description box down below for you to go and check that out for yourselves. It's always worth knowing more about your own astrological picture, where your rising sign is, your moon sign, your Venus sign even, because then you can check out the corresponding videos that go with that as well, not just on my channel but on other people's channels as well. At the moment I'm not doing quite so many zodiac sun related videos, because I'm kind of doing other things, working on other things, although I will be putting more of them out at some point as well. So this tarot reading is for the collective for this Pisces new moon, and I'm going to start it off with a angel script message. So this card here, I pulled this earlier, or this came out earlier for us. I asked for a message from the angels and we got Raziel, I believe. And Raziel is all about wisdom, which is quite apt at this time of this new moon, because it is connected to Jupiter, which also has a wisdom of its own, and also Neptune in Pisces is also about wisdom. So Raziel brings insight and direct perception of the deep mysteries of the cosmos, which is also very Piscean energy. It carries the wisdom of the ancients and the understanding for the cosmic father. It encourages us to discover for ourselves the beauty and intricate complexity of the creation. Raziel brings the book of wisdom, which contains the inner knowledge that protects and empowers us. Like a father, it imparts to us the information which enables us to make our way as independent beings. We are entrusted with this wisdom as our birthright, and we abuse it at our peril. When the Divine Father considers that the child is still too young to handle the power with consideration and respect, then the book will be hidden away. Like small children hunting for birthday gifts before the day is due, we search for the book, knowing that it is truly intended for us. Sometimes we become frustrated and angry, then we may tread without caution and create havoc. There's a lot of that happening on the world stage at this time. A lot of havoc and a lot of not treading very carefully and cautiously. If we act destructively in our search for answers, if we act destructively in our search for answers, we will suffer. The more we attempt to grasp wisdom, the more it will elude us. Raziel is the eye of illumination. It brings a sudden light into the mind, and what was unclear becomes clarified. What was mysterious becomes transparent. We cannot grasp this with the intellect, only with the deepest, most silent part of the mind, which kind of connects in with this Piscean energy of meditation and connecting with that inner divine part of ourselves, and the inner divine, or the outer divine connection, the inner and the outer connecting together. We understand without words, and then we attempt to communicate in whatever way we can. So we cannot grasp this with the intellect, only with the deepest, most silent part of the mind. We understand without words, and then we attempt to communicate in whatever way we can. This wisdom needs no evidence, and it is not subject to analysis. Its truthfulness is apparent, and it's demonstrated by its usefulness. When we discover and understand the deep mystery, we are empowered to live correctly. So that's an interesting energy to start the reading off with. Raziel, wisdom. The Father, the wisdom of the Father. So, before I forget, I will very quickly do the new moon energy, which is where we are. We are in new moon energy, planting a seed, something new beginning, something fresh happening, a new beginning in all. And it is in Pisces, which is all about meditative and contemplative energy, that going within to find that source, as Raziel was talking about, that inner wisdom, that inner knowing, that can only be found with the stillness within and not with the intellect. And then the mutable energy of this moon, the very flexible and changeable and nothing certain, nothing actually set down in stone at this time energy that we are in with this Pisces energy. And of course we will have the same energy next time as well with the Virgo full moon. So jumping into the reading, we have the first card here, the Devil energy. So we are still facing a lot of our fears here, but this energy is upright. So we are prepared to actually begin to take a look at our deepest, darkest fears. And this is kind of that Piscean energy as well. I talked about this in my astrology reading, about this unknown element is kind of the dark fear, and it probably goes all the way back to when we lived in kind of cave-like situations and we didn't know what was out there in the dark, and we were a large part of the food chain, so to speak. We didn't know whether we were going to survive or not survive, or what dangers were ahead of us, and everything was very precarious and everything was very unknowable from day to day. There was not that kind of stability and safety which we have on some level today, but this is still that kind of connection with that part of our brain, if you like, that kind of reptilian part of our brain that is still there, that kind of brings up those fears, that takes us back to those days, that subconscious energy. And the reptilian part of our brain, of course, is also where some people have a much more developed part of this reptilian brain, which is why they don't have empathy or compassion or love for other people in the same way. There's more of a psychopathic energy about these people. This could also be that energy here as well that we're dealing with at this time. People who don't care about other people and what happens to them. If you look here, this devil is kind of holding these two by this leash, these leashes, these chains. Although they do have free will and they can slip the chains off. They can free themselves. So there is this part of fear that holds us in fear. So we are held in fear by our fear. It's like a self-fulfilling kind of prophecy in a way, I suppose, for want of a better word. But he's also here playing the pan pipes. This is the god Pan, that animalistic side of ourselves, that reptilian side of ourselves that has on some level still got control, because we are held back, we are controlled by our fears, and there is a lot of that happening again at this time. It's like we've just come out of the this whole 2 years, almost 3 years now, very close to 3 years in fact, of this whole fear element that has been pushed on us. And fear is something that makes people easy to control. So that's what's coming through for me with this card, because it's also crossed over by this 8 of Pentacles here, which is our challenge at this time. And the 8 of Pentacles talks about relearning something or learning something. It's like all of these 7 Pentacles down here are situations that we've been in the past, knowledge that we've learnt, situations we've been through, experiences we've had, what we've taken from them, our growth from them. And the devil, or the 8 of Pentacles over the top of the devil, is kind of saying that this is where we need to get to. We need to get to kind of letting go of all this past energy down here and begin to focus on our future, because the 8 of Pentacles is also about the future, because it is talking about kind of building on something new without this energy. Self-mastery as well, the 8 of Pentacles. It is self-mastery. It's getting to a point where you are your own boss, or you are the master of your own destiny. There is nobody there to hold on to you, to hold you back, to stop you from achieving. And of course this new moon in Pisces, if you watch my astrology video that I've put out, it does talk about this new moon being a wish fulfilling moon because of the Jupiter energy, which is very closely conjunct this new moon, like the sun and the moon together. It's highlighting the sun and moon energy in Pisces, it kind of wish fulfilling and bringing in dreams and desires. And it's saying kind of like dream big, think big, manifest big. So this could also be part of that, because it's a very material based, so it's kind of bringing the future into being, working on something. But I get the feeling that it has got a lot to do with mastering our own, being our own masters, mastering our skills, understanding this devil energy and how much it has affected us over these last 3 years, and how it's still kind of there, very prominently there in fact, because it's right in the very middle of this reading. So it's kind of trying to be brought back into our conscious awareness. And in our conscious awareness, in our heads, what we understand about what's happening at the moment, we have the 4 of Swords followed literally by the 5 of Swords. I'm going to put them around that way so that when you see them you can see the order that they came out in. So the 4 of Swords here is talking about needing to kind of take time out, sit back. Very Piscean in fact. The best thing to be doing at the moment is to sit back, meditate, not to take action, to really kind of connect with what it is that we're wanting here, the outcome. What is the outcome that we're wanting here? Because again, we have this kind of authority figure standing over this same person here. So he's gone from the 4 to the 5, and he's kind of being told here by this authority figure, although this is Apollo, it's the sun god, very patriarchal energy. And we had very patriarchal energy with Raziel, the father energy, but that's more of a kind of the positive aspects of the father energy. And this can also be seen as the patriarchal, masculine, father type energy. And he's standing over, because the devil is also seen as Capricorn energy. And Capricorn is all about establishment, governments, control, restrictions. So in this Five of Swords, he's literally being told that he has to do something or else the consequences will not be good. That it's almost like it's a destiny. It has to be done. And it is purely because he is of the male lineage. He is a son. And it's a family situation that has gone badly wrong here. So it's like he has to go and put it to right or balance it out, even though that what he's being asked to do is actually going against his free will in many ways. It is going against what he really doesn't want to do. He does not want to do that. This act that he's been told by this authority figure of Apollo, the sun god, to go and make happen, goes against all of his, what's the word I'm looking for, all of his nature. But because this is an authority figure, he feels that he doesn't have the right to say no. To refuse. Because again, if he refuses, there will be consequences to these actions. And these swords, for me at the moment, these swords are kind of depicting what we've all been told that we have to take in order for life to go back to some kind of normality. The authority figures that are telling us that if we don't do this, then we can't go and do this. We can't have a normal life. We can't go and enjoy ourselves. We can't go out and have fun. So that's what's in our head and what we're aware of. And it seems like there's still this strong kind of authority at this time. And that we're becoming more aware of how much control we kind of hand over to them, or choose to, or not to. And it's kind of like, this is where we're at this time, is this situation of do we or don't we give that authority and that power and our sense of free will away to these figures of authority. In the past, the energy that's moving away here, oops, sorry about that glare, that's very bright. We have the card of hope, the star, Pandora's box, that's full of all this nasty suffering and everyday kind of crap that we have to go through in order to just survive on some level. It's like one thing after another, constantly like coming at us. There doesn't seem to be any respite or any rest, or it's like one thing and you get through that and then something else kind of hits you full on. It's like constant. If you see, it's all kind of bugs and insects and things that can sting and bite, and they're kind of symbolic of like situations that we have to go through in our lives. But at the very bottom of this box and all these kind of nasties is this beautiful star of hope that was buried at the bottom. So it's saying that we have been hanging on to this hope, if you like, because this is moving away, the star energy. We have been hanging on to this hope that things are going to change, things are going to get better, that we will see improvement in our lives, in our day-to-day. Trying to show you that star there without the glare, which is a little bit, oh there we go, that's a bit better. Yeah, this star energy of hope and destiny and fulfillment, and like I say, things improving, things kind of getting to a place where we feel more like we are on top of things rather than things being on top of us and dragging us down. But underneath in the subconscious place here, we have the Five of Wands in reverse. And this is a card of facing our, it's very similar to this devil energy in a way. This is a card of facing our demons, our fears, our self-doubts, our worries, things that stress us out, and it's in reverse. So because it's also in the subconscious, this for me is very much this kind of Pisces energy that we're having to face at this time, the unknown again. It's that unknown. What's coming next? We don't know. But this is in the subconscious realm in itself. So it's like deep in our subconscious, there is more of this, of the fear of this unknown quantities or entities, or again it kind of goes back to that place of ancestry. I mean, the dragon here is literally very reptilian. And he's holding this fleece here, and the fleece is the prize. This is Jason, and he has to collect this fleece. It's what he's been told he has to do. It's a quest that he has to fulfill. But in order to do so, he has to fight this dragon. The dragon is symbolic of our self-fears and our self-doubts and our lack of belief in ourselves. And that kind of stems from that unknown quantity as well. Like when you dive down into the subconscious and all this kind of stuff comes up that we haven't dealt with because we've buried it and buried it and buried it. We don't know what we're going to find. We don't know what monsters are kind of lurking there in the depth of the darkness of our memories and our minds and our experiences that we've kind of shut away and closed off to. And then we have the Five of Cups in the energy that's moving in to the future. And the Five of Cups can be seen as a card of regret. Regret for behaving in a certain way, regret for having done something that we shouldn't have done, or that we do spontaneously without kind of thinking about it. But there is a regret energy here, a sorrowful, because she's reaching out to Eros, who you can see here is just disappearing between those pillars there. And she's kind of upset the status quo by doing so. She has listened to her own fears, literally listened to her own fears, and in doing so she chose to try and see her husband, who she married without actually knowing what he looked like. And so her fears have grown, and plus other people have put their own input in as well, other people's opinions and views on things, or which can also be our own inner voices as well, symbolically, those voices in our own heads that again kind of make us fearful and doubt what we're doing. And so what she did was she took the lamp that she's holding in her hand there and went to look at him in the dark, because he only ever come to her in the dark as well. It was always a nighttime thing. And she accidentally woke him by dropping a very small drip of candle oil on his face. And so he awoke, and because she no longer trusted him, he ran away. But there's a depth in here and another hidden meaning in here as well, that sometimes when we want to know something on a deeper level, particularly people who we think we know, the more we try to find out about them, the more they can become a closed book, like a life, our lives as well. Like we can be a closed book ourselves. It's like you think you can know, or you think you know somebody, but then it turns out that they're not who you thought they were, that they may have hidden secrets, they may have things that they're keeping quiet about, or they're not revealing. And that's kind of what's coming through here. And again, I get the sense that this could also be about things being revealed, as I talk about in my Piscean new moon reading, things being revealed, the truth coming out. Because now she knows the truth, Psyche knows the truth. But with that energy, there's a lot of guilt, there's a lot of regret, a lot of upset. There's all these spilt cups down here on the floor, which is the emotions. There is still one left standing. So it's not like a complete disaster. There is something that can be built on. So we'll see what else comes out with that energy as I do some more confirmation cards. So the energy we find ourselves in at this time, the Hangman in reverse, which is really interesting because I talk about the Hangman in my astrology reading. I feel very much as though the period of time with this Neptune energy that we're in, with this Pisces energy, the 12th house energy, is all about surrender and sacrifice and hanging in limbo and giving things over to the divine, rather than us trying to, like with these energies here, kind of mess about with things and make things right from our own kind of ego analytical mind point of view. This is about surrender, sacrificing, letting go. But it is in reverse. And the reason I feel it's in reverse is because none of us like this energy. Really. None of us want to be in that hanging limbo, unknown, don't know what's coming next, don't know why we're here, don't know what's happening. And also letting go of the control of something as well, or feeling like we have no control over something, which again could be this devil energy here. But sometimes the only thing that you can do is let go and surrender to that divine within and without, that sense of the greater purpose. Because the Hangman also talks about illumination as well. It's getting a different perspective, but not when he's that way. Like when he's that way, it's kind of seeing things from a different angle. So here it's like we are reluctant to change our viewpoint on something, or reluctant to admit that something needs to be looked at a different way. We also have the Death card in our collective energy of how other people see us. So I kind of see this as the you know, how we view what's happening in the world in general at this time. And the Death card in reverse is that very strong Pluto tyrannical energy. And again, it could feel as though we don't have control here. We don't have. And there is a lesson here with the Death card, which is coming through about, you know, that it can come at any time. And it's something that we don't want to look at as well. It's something, especially in the West, we really don't like kind of talking about it, or it's that kind of taboo subject. It's almost like the last frontier, if you like. You know, you don't talk about death. It's something that is absolutely definite from the moment you take your first breath. It's like, you know, it's always there. And at this time, unfortunately, it's like we're trying to kind of ignore it or pretend it's not real, or kind of it doesn't exist. It's like kind of like, how can I put it? It's almost like, I mean, death is all around us, and it always has been. It always has been. Because like I said, like from when you take your first breath, the fact is that at some point you're going to take a last one. So, but the thing about this energy at this time is that it's becoming very powerfully prominent on the planet, because Pluto is having such a huge effect on all of us. Astrologically, he's playing a massive role in all of our lives. But it doesn't have to be. I mean, this is also transformation, so it doesn't have to be about death in itself. It's also about transformational energy and evolutionary energy. And when you get these two cards kind of together, it's kind of saying to me that there is this kind of reluctance to, oh, it's up the wrong way, both in reverse. There is this reluctance to accept the inevitable in some ways, but also a sense of fear here as well, this fear of this potential that is there, because we have the Empress in our hopes and our fears, which is all about the potential like being permanently pregnant with potential. If you see here, she's pregnant. She's holding her belly. She is the Empress. She is the matriarch. She is the feminine energy. But when she's in reverse, again, there's this sense of the feminine, or like losing this energy somehow, like something. I just get a sense of a lot of fear and mistrust and like literally, if you put these together, it feels like, you know, something dark, because this card, when it's in reverse as well, can be the kind of the fury of the feminine energy. The angry mother energy, or Mother Earth energy, that when it's released, it kind of just destroys. It is just destruction. You know, if you think of storms and earthquakes and all that kind of thing. As much as she is kind of full of potential for abundance and good things, she's also full of potential to create havoc and wreck and destroy. And that's kind of what is here with this fear element, I feel. This is just a hope and a fear though. It's not a definite, this is how it's going to be energy. But we do have the moon, so we've got a lot of major arcana cards here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 major arcana cards out of 10 cards. So that's a lot of major arcana energy, which means this is a big kind of situation that we're in at this time. And the moon, for me, whenever she's in reverse, is the new moon energy. It talks about the new moon energy because everything is kind of lower, kind of, how can you put it, like unrevealed, and it's an energy of things being kept in the dark, things being secretive and unrevealed, unseen. Again, that unknowing energy, because it's not the full moon. If it was up this way, I would say that this is the full moon, and the full moon is the revealing moon. So this is much more about secrets and things that aren't being shown to us at this time. It is also the moon for planting new ideas and new seeds. And we have with it the Queen of Swords, who also came out in reverse. So this, to me, the Queen of Swords is the intellectual mind, the analytical, intellectual thinking. When it's in reverse, it's uncooperative kind of energy. It's somebody who doesn't want to share their ideas or their knowledge or their wisdom of things. You see here as well, she's got this pitcher of water which she's kind of just pouring out onto this very barren soil. It's not going to grow anything. Which kind of fits in with this moon energy of secrets and things being hidden. It's kind of like this is wasted energy in a way, wasted emotion when it's in reverse. And I say emotion because water is emotion, and she's literally sitting in this gorgeously turquoise blue dress, which for me is also a connection with the throat and the heart chakra. She is the communication card as well. The Queen of Swords is about communication, the mind, and how we verbalize and communicate with people around us. But it's talking about the need for these heartfelt, honest communications which aren't taking place. And there's also something very kind of, because this is the feminine energy as well that we're dealing with here with the moon, this Queen of Swords and this Empress here. Which is interesting because we were also talking about this very kind of masculine energy here as well with the devil and the Raziel energy, the death energy, the Pluto energy. Pluto also rules over the underworld. He rules over poisons, toxins, nuclear, secrets, scandals, obsessions. The devil is also obsessions. And there could also be this kind of this idea of this obsession about death at this time as well. The power of life and death. Oh, right, okay. That's what I've just been told. The power of life and death. Is held in whose hands? And there's many people who kind of don't think that this energy is a real energy, like the devil energy itself, but it is symbolic of the darker side of humanity. Okay. So let's see what else we get. With these. Powerful major arcana energies here. And they are powerful major arcanas. One more. So let's confirm the Devil and the Eight of Pentacles here. The Moon energy, of course, is also, or is the ruler of Cancer, which is also the 4th house. To do with comfort, security. And we have the Hangman again. And again, he's in reverse. So there is definitely something going on with this Hangman energy, which, as I was saying earlier, is this very Piscean, Neptunian 12th house energy. Neptune, the Sun, the Moon, Jupiter, all in 12th house. The 12th house energy is the unknown. It is the secretive energy. It is also our hidden enemies as well, because it is the hidden, it's the unseen. It's things that we don't even see within ourselves, particularly when it's in reverse. It's like we're missing, or we're not seeing or dealing with or stopping, like somehow stopping this kind of surrendering, sacrificing to the bigger source here. Because when this energy is upright, this is when we let go and let God, as they say, or let source, or basically we not just sacrifice, we release our need to be the ones in control. But not when it's up in reverse. When it's in reverse, we're kind of hanging on as tightly as we can to what we know, what we believe, how things have been, how we want them to be, how we think they should be. Really, the Hangman, when it's in reverse, is the ego having more control, because we're not allowing that divine flow into our lives, that spiritual connection. Taking all of them. So the Hangman came out, or I spoke about the Hangman in my astrology reading. If you are interested, sorry about this, I'm just going to grab this card that fell on the floor. So yeah, if you're interested in finding out more about that, the astrology will tell you the reason for why I think this Hangman energy is very strong at this time. Because it is being driven by the ego at this time. It's like there's so much ego out there on the world stage at this time. But it's not just their ego that's being affected here. You know what I mean? It's like it's going to affect everybody else. The decisions that are being made from ego by all concerned are going to have a big effect on everybody else. And what's in our head here and what we're aware of is the Tower. Let me just say the noises that you can hear at the moment are the kittens that have kind of grown up and are now a lot noisier, a lot more playful, run about a lot more, make a lot more noise. So yeah, the Tower moment, that moment of shock, of illumination, which is what this Hangman energy is also talking about here, but not when it's in reverse, because that kind of, if you see here, he has this halo around his head, and if he was up that way, he, again, that perception, that seeing things differently, it's that moment of clarity, that moment of illumination or enlightenment, but not when it's upside down, because when it's in reverse, you're not allowing the greater creative source to reveal itself within you. And the Tower is kind of saying, you know, because of that, there's a lot more shocking, awakening, revelationary energy here. The Tower is really that lightning strike, and that lightning strike is Uranus energy. Uranus is connecting with this new moon at this time. Strong sextile energy, and Uranus is also in the earth sign of Taurus as well, that earthy pentacle material realm. And so also with Jupiter here as well, we do have these new opportunities coming in, which is the Ace of Pentacles energy here. So it's like, as this old energy, which is what this is, the old energy, the energy that has been being controlled, if you like, by this energy here for a long time, that we have built our structures around ourselves on fear and limitations and being told what is possible and what isn't possible. It's like all of this is being swept away. And it's come out over the top of this Four of Swords and this Five of Swords. So it's kind of saying, you know, do we step in Because the Tower also is something that happens without actually, how can you put it? It's like it always happens outwardly, but it comes from within us. It's like getting to a point where we no longer fit into this kind of restrictive idea of who we are, this outer persona of who we are. So we have to push through it and break it down. But it always feels like it's an outside force that steps in to take over, but it's because we ourselves have reached that point of like, can't stay in this restricted view of who I am or what I'm supposed to do, what I'm supposed to be. But there's always actions to all of our consequences to all of our actions, and that's kind of what this is saying here. That we choose to do something or not to do something, there will always be consequences. And within those actions or non-actions, which I think was something that also came out in the astrology reading as well, in the crystal card, I think, because we got the malachite crystal, and I'm sure that it was talking about the fact that when we choose to do or not do something, there's still an action in that choice. So the star, the energy that's moving away, we have the Page of Pentacles in reverse. Page of Pentacles is an energy of immaturity, of needing to grow beyond where we've been, of needing to learn, to understand. The Pentacles is the earth realm, it's the material realm. It's also the realm where we restrict ourselves probably the most as well. Page of Pentacles is looking for enjoyment. He's looking to have an easy life in some ways, especially when he's upright. It's like he wants to enjoy life, he wants to experience life, he wants to have the good things in life. But when he's in reverse, there is also that sense of, do I deserve that? Can I do it? Is it achievable? And also a sense of maybe focusing too much on this negative energy and not focusing the attention on the star. Of not having enough faith or belief in ourselves in order to be able to achieve. And to bring something into the reality. Our hopes, our wishes. This is a wishing moon. But this is the energy that is passing away. And of course we do have this Ace of Pentacles here, where he's holding that ace in his hand there, in reverse. But it's the same pentacle here, except now it's kind of like it's newly coming in. It's like the tower, as this tower is crumbling and falling away, it's like new opportunities are going to show themselves here. We are going to become aware of things that are going to take us, again, kind of like new territory is what I get with the Ace of Pentacles. And we also have the Ace of Wands as well, which is a really good energy. Ace of Wands is new, creative, fiery, passionate. As with all the aces, it needs direction. All aces need to have a channel in which to be directed for them to grow and expand and become a reality, to become the Ten of Pentacles, the final completion. So this is the very beginning. Both the aces And this is what's in our head, and this is what's in our subconscious. And it's almost like the two of them working together. Like the Ace of Wands here is feeding this Ace of Pentacles, because this is the lower subconscious and it's before it rises up into the conscious awareness. But it's over the top of this Five of Wands. So it can also, the Wands can also be about courage. It is that kind of I can energy. I can do this. I do have the creative ability or the passion or the drive or the willpower even to achieve this and make it happen. It's fire. It's driven. It's enthusiasm. It can even be joy. If you see here, this one's not so much to do with fire. It's actually got a lot of green leaves coming out of that wand. So it's also about kind of new growth, new inspiration is what I'm being told. New inspiration. So the Five of Cups has the Two of Pentacles, the Six of Cups in reverse, and the Five of Wands. So the Two is that backwards forwards energy. I always see it as kind of past and present or future energy. It's kind of like that constant flowing energy, which is creating that figure of 8, the symbol of eternity. It is balancing things, it is keeping things flowing in order for them to not stagnate. So it's coming after this Ace of Pentacles as well. So we've got the Ace in our heads, and then we've got this Two coming in as a future energy. To maybe balance things up, maybe to bring things, because it's over this Five of Cups, which was all about this energy of remorse, regret. So I'm kind of seeing this also as an energy of the masculine and the feminine being balanced in harmony, or trying to balance it in harmony, trying to balance that masculine, feminine energy within us. But also, like, what are we bringing with us into the future? What are we taking with us into our future? Are we just carrying a lot of regret and sorrow and guilt about things from our past? What is it we need to leave behind? What are we needing to drop here? What's going to keep us unbalanced, in that place of unbalance and kind of unharmonious or harmonic energy? Because we have the Six of Pentacles, and this is nostalgia. This is looking back in the past. This is like wishing for things to have been different, and yet at the same time knowing that that's not possible, that you can't change the past, but you can change the future. You can only ever make a difference in the present. now is the only time that you can actually make something happen. And the Five of Wands here is also about battling with our inner. Again, it's very similar to, well, it is the Five of Wands down here, so it's twice that it's come out. Only this time it's actually upright, so it's kind of rising up out of the subconscious into our future energy of kind of battling with ourselves, but in a more kind of outward direction, if you know what I mean. It's like, because it's kind of coming into our future, it's like we can see it now, we can see it, whereas here it was kind of hidden in the deeper subconscious, that fear element, that not knowing what we're battling, what we're fighting against, and yet now it's coming out into the open. We have more chance to actually to deal with it, to actually deal with those inner fears, inner doubts, self-doubt, disbelief, lack of faith in ourselves, lack of trust in ourselves, lack of believing in ourselves. And yet when it's upright, it's kind of saying that that's going to become more apparent to us. And at the end of the day, it's us that we battle with. We battle with ourselves, is what's coming through here. It is our own, again, fears, insecurities. The battle is within. But we may also project it outwardly. And it could have something to do with keeping parts of ourselves hidden. Those parts that we don't want to show to the world, show to other people, show to even ourselves as well. Because this Piscean energy is about the hidden enemy. And like our biggest enemy can be ourselves. Because this is about not working in harmony. If you see there, all those wands are kind of clashing and challenging and competitive. It can be competitive energy as well, having to compete in order to feel good about ourselves. So over the top of this Hangman energy, we have the King of Pentacles in reverse. King of Pentacles is the earth realm. It is that material reality. But when he's in reverse, what he's saying to me here is that there is this kind of ungroundedness, like this lack of understanding. A lack of being, grounded, being like the King of Pentacles likes to know what is what. You know, a spade is a spade and that's it. That's how it is. That's how it's always been. It's that traditional kind of energy. But when it's in reverse, it's kind of being called into question. Particularly with this Hangman energy here. A bit cognitive dissonance, I would say, actually, like shattering of an illusion taking place. Because he's no longer grounded, he's no longer fixed in that kind of earth fixed energy. His world's upside down, literally. And he doesn't know how to make sense of things. And that is kind of this energy here as well. This hangman energy. So it's like our material world no longer being no longer like stability, no longer being stable, no longer having that kind of secure and stableness that we're used to. That stability that we get from the material world is kind of being stripped away. Questioned. With this hangman energy of letting go, releasing, very Piscean. I just really want to say very woo energy as well. Neptune in Pisces is that kind of disillusionment, and that's what I'm feeling from this king here, this disillusionment. That everything wasn't what it was made out to be. Almost like something that is no longer, just reliable. Something that we've always been able to rely on as being steadfast and enduring, and it's like that's all kind of like an illusion. And we have the Death card with the Ace of Swords in reverse. So in reverse, Ace of Swords is things again being hidden, truths not being revealed, things not being said that should be being said. And again, it's coming through with that power of life and death. It's another ace. So again, it's another new energy, but it's in reverse. So it's like something is not, because this is air energy, this is communication, this is things that should just be easily understood. Truth should be revealed, but it isn't. Lack of clarity, lack of insight, lack of honest, open. The Ace of Swords can also be about defense as well. like wanting or needing to defend. Sorry, that light is really bright. Try and get a picture of it. There we go. See, the crown is at the bottom here, the wreath, which should be upright, so this should be like victorious, but it isn't because it's in reverse. So it feels like difficult truths that are yet to be revealed and accepted. Things that we're going to find difficult to actually accept. Again, Pluto, the underworld, scandals, all those deep, dark secrets. And when the ace is kind of in reverse, it's not necessarily being open to hearing things, to communicating things, that all that kind of level of again, when the sword is upright, it's wisdom, knowledge, truth, clarity coming in. Sword, of course, is also about, well, it is a weapon. Cuts through things. Could also be about a need for truth. Neither side is willing to back down here. Nobody's willing to back down here. Nobody's willing to be honest about the actions and about where it could lead as well. Yeah. Hopes and fears, messages. As I was saying, the power of life and death. Messages, honest. This is honest, open, but this is in our hopes and our fears. We're wanting things to be open. We want communication to be open. We want to know the truth about something. We want to know the potential behind all of this, where it's leading. So I was saying, in reverse, the Empress energy can be that sense of, similar to Pluto in many ways, that kind of destructive earth energy. I don't really want to use the term scorched earth energy, but that's kind of what's coming through here on some level. Because the Empress also talks about cycles of time as well. Things repeating, patterns reoccurring. That kind of feels like where we are. Reoccurring patterns. And do we have the ability to kind of shift things onto a different path, a different kind of timeline here? The potential's there. Potential for great life, But of course, among certain groups of people on the planet, that is not what they're looking for. They're actually looking for more destruction. The death cult that is out there. That is actually very obsessed with the whole idea, because it's mastery, it's power over life and death. It's having that power over life and death, over somebody else's life and death, not just their own. And also over the mother energy as well, the feminine energy. In particular, over the feminine energy. Taking that power of life that is given by nature and abusing it. Becoming that's a lot of cards. Okay, so we have the Nine of Wands, and this is over the top of this Moon and Queen energy, these secrets and these things that are not being revealed, more energy that is being hidden, kept silent, being kept in the dark. We're being kept in the dark, is what I'm being told here. The Warriors, the long suffering warriors that have lived a lot of experience, sent out to battle time and time and time again, which is symbolic of life itself as well as the bigger picture of this time. The Devil energy over the top of that again. Again, that controlling our path, our existence. The battlefield. Dropped that one. We have a lot of major arcana cards here. We have the Devil, we have the Chariot in reverse. So things are not going to plan, or things aren't moving forward in a way that they could be, should be. Chariot, when it's upright, talks about being the master again of your own destiny, being in the driving seat, but when it's in reverse, it's like either not going anywhere or doing anything, or it's being controlled. Somebody else driving that vehicle, and that vehicle could actually be us. We are a vehicle, we are a physical body vehicle. So there is also that element of the Chariot there as well. Because it also has these sphinxes here, the light and the dark, the black, the white, the negative, the positive, the masculine, the feminine. And we have the Strength card in reverse as well, so there is a lack of fortitude, a lack of strength, a lack of again, that feels like that lack of balance between the masculine and the feminine, the lion there and the female. Again, I get the feeling of like being kept. Being kept down, being kept how can you put it? Being kept what's the word I'm looking for here? Being kept out of our power, out of our because the strength talks about maturity as well. It talks about, you know, being mature enough to know when to roar and when to kind of like be more gentle, be more like the masculine. Again, that masculine and feminine energy, but it is in reverse. So it is that holding back or being held back, not being able to break free. With this energy still having control. And also feeling like we don't have any control. We have the Hierophant here as well in reverse. Where do we place our faith, our belief? It's just coming through as like it's all lies, is what I'm getting here. It's kind of like it's all lies. I mean, there's so many Arcana cards now. The Devil, the Chariot, the Strength, the Hierophant, and Judgment. The final kind of calling here. Laying the past to rest, to allow things to be released. But again, Judgment is in reverse. So as a human race, we're very kind of like, you know, that traditional, we like to stick with what we know. Again, better the devil you know than the devil you don't know. Even if you don't know the devil that well either, which is what's coming through with this Five of Cups here, something not being fully seen, something behind the scenes. And again, it's kind of, if you look at those two humans there, those chains are easy to slip out of, but they choose to stay there by their own fears. It's their fear that keeps them attached. Looking at his hand here as well, this devil's hand, and how he's kind of holding his one hand up and one hand down, although it's not all the way up. But it is similar to that magician energy of kind of bringing that, but this feels more like bringing that control. Down on us, like literally, and stopping things from moving forward by using our own strength against us. Our lack of faith and trust, and where do we put our faith and our trust? What do we believe in anymore? And this Judgment card, as I was saying, this kind of final outcome here. There is a lot that is hidden, a lot hidden here. Gabriel, the angel Gabriel. In reverse. Not heeding the warning. Is what's coming out here, not heeding the warning. A lot of our major arcana cards. It feels like a need to break free as well, to break out of, break away from this energy. So I'm going to pull a light, Keepers of Light card to see which Keeper of the Light is going to work with us at this time. And the message overall for us to be aware of. It feels like there's a lot of hidden That's interesting. The Holy Spirit is saying expect miracles. And remember that only love is real. Miracles will occur naturally. Spirit has your back. So maybe that's what this is also saying, that all of this is just an illusion. Because we're being kept in the dark, our own fears can also manifest. Because the new moon energy can be that time of kind of like trying to work things out but not seeing things very clearly, so you kind of try to put the pieces together and come up with some crazy story that may not be anywhere near the truth. But then we kind of convince ourselves that we know what it's all about. And Queen of Swords is also cutting off from, like I was saying, emotions. Too much over-analysing. So let's see what the Holy Spirit has to say here, because this is a very positive outcome from something that was kind of quite gloomy and quite dark feeling energy. The Holy Spirit is saying, according to the spiritual text, A Course in Miracles, the Holy Spirit meditates between illusion and myth. Illusion and truth. It's the essence that allows us to move beyond the illusion of fear or the illusions that our fear has created. Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what I just got here. Exactly what I just got. That this is our illusionary mind, that it is all just illusionary. Okay, so it's the holiest light of truth and love that we can ever experience, an aspect of our truest self, the self that's never separate from God. When it appears in a reading, prepare for miracles. And of course, this is a time of miracles with this Jupiter Neptune conjunction coming up, this new moon in Pisces conjunct Jupiter at this time as well. Again, check out my astrology reading. There is a lot of new opportunities coming in, but we do have to clear out the old. We do have to release ourselves from this illusionary belief. And we also have Master Buddha as well, although Master Buddha did come out in reverse. So let's just see what Master Buddha is saying. He's talking about increased awareness, deep connection, trust your inner voice. It's that meditative energy going within. So the Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama, started his life as a rich, mollycoddled prince, but one day he broke free from the palace and was exposed to sickness, age and death. This shook him and set him off on a spiritual adventure that would lead him to leave behind all earthly pleasures and seek enlightenment, so that he could end suffering in the world. Now he helps us make contact with our inner teacher and encourages us to acknowledge how we feel and then accept it, so that we can move beyond the suffering we feel. So the extended message here, because it was in reverse, is you are moving beyond the illusions that fear has created, so that you can be more focused on your priorities and what is serving you on this path. All suffering eventually comes to an end, and acknowledging how you feel, how you really feel, and what occurred in order for you to feel this way will help you move beyond it. Call on Master Buddha now to help you remember you are part of something that is greater than suffering. The wheel of karma is turning in your favour, and all your acts of kindness and goodness will benefit you. Thoughts may arise now that solve issues in your life, home, relationships or work. They are being sent to you from your inner teacher, the Buddha within. So nice energies to end the reading with. And this is what we need to focus our attention on, these two here. And so with that, I'm going to finish the reading and say thank you very much for watching and listening. I hope that you have got something out of it. I hope that it has been of some benefit to you somehow. If it has, please could you thumbs it up for me, because it really does help me to kind of get more attention from this platform that I'm trying to grow my channel on as well. So that would really help me hugely. And it does make a big difference. It's amazing how big a difference it makes. The more likes you get, the more attention your channel is seen to have, so more likely it is to get pushed out into the bigger kind of YouTube world, shall we say. Also, there is that subscription button on my video as well, so for those of you who haven't subscribed yet, please could you do so. Tap that button, sorry, if you're interested, and tap the bell so that if you want to receive my videos as and when I put them out, you will be able to do so. There is a playlist on my channel as well for anybody who's interested in checking out any more of my videos. This, like I said, is the tarot part of the new moon energy. I do the full moons and the new moons mostly at this time. I'm also working through the 2022 videos as well, which I haven't been able to get done as soon as I would have liked to have got them done. I do actually have a Saturn square happening with my sun at the moment. So for those of you who do understand astrology, you may understand that that is a bit of a kind of restrictive energy there as well. So, and it's on my sun. So not an easy one to be going through at this time, but I am going to try and push through and push forward with it and keep on doing this. Also, please, if you want to leave a comment, then that would be great as well, because comments also show that people are paying attention to the channel as well, and kind of help to let YouTube know that people are interested in my messages and what's being put out there. So with all that being said, I'm going to wish you all the best, say thank you very much again, and for those of you who have already subscribed and liked my videos, thank you very much for doing so, and hopefully I will see you all again soon. Take care.